People always ask me what Champs is like during the day because we do get crazy at night, but we're just a normal workplace.
What's good, bro? What's good, bro? How your weekend going?
It's alright, bro. How's yours?
Man, just chilling. You catch the game the other day?
Nah, I did.
That boy Steph Curry, he's something serious. Yeah.
Right now, I need you to high five your best friend. High five your best friend right now. Yes. Welcome back from vacation, Sean.
Good.
Make more good in the all-new Sportage X-Pro. Kia, movement that inspires.
This is the place where roadside markets are filled with fruits and vegetables, small batch jams and made from scratch pies, where mountain trails are explored with friends with names like Ghost and Traveler, where award-winning wines, craft-made beers and spirits are raised, hearty meals are served, and nights are shared under star-filled skies. This is Center County, Pennsylvania. To find out all that's happening, visit us at happyvalleyagventures.com.
Penn State fans, it's game time, and Sionka is hitting the field with 40 dealerships and 25 franchises in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. That means more choices and the perfect new or pre-owned vehicle priced to fit your budget. Plus, factory-trained service experts are just minutes away, and you can feel confident you're doing business with a family that treats you like family. We're a proud partner of Penn State Athletics and preferred auto dealer of the Penn State Alumni Association. The Sionka dealerships. Experience the difference.
Kapow! Welcome everybody to the second ever episode of the Blue and White Players Show live from downtown State College at Champs Downtown. Old school, new school, same school, bringing you the story of Penn State's 2022 football season through the words of the Nittany Lions themselves. I'm your fake host, Chris Bucanani, joined as always by my two running mates, old school, former Penn State offensive lineman, Rose Bowl champion, Keith Goon Conlin.
What's going on, fellas? How are you? Good weekend. Great weekend.
And I got the new school, former Penn State defensive lineman, Aeneas Hawkins.
No accolades like Goon, but I am here today. Excited to be here at that.
Cotton Bowl champion.
Cotton
there you
Bowl
go.
champion.
All right.
There we go. I was there.
Okay, so Penn State 2-0. We're feeling good.
Feeling good.
You always talk about when you play a team that has clearly lesser talent, do what Penn State is supposed to do to that team, and the guys did it this week.
My thing has always been, I'm a Paterno guy, and Joe was always like, you're not going to throw your helmet out there, and they're not going to bow down to you and this and that. So you have to go out there with the mentality that we're Penn State, you're Ohio. Play it like it is. You know, they're these kids, this is their Super Bowl because they wanted to play here, but they weren't good enough to play here. Probably wanted to play at Ohio State, but they're, Penn State. So they're not playing Ohio State this year. So this was one of their big games to make a name for themselves. And the way we have to go out there, we did. And that was just go out there as a big bad wolf and say, okay, you guys are still in the MAC. We're still a Big Ten program. Take it, go home.
100%. I think you saw, you saw them do some good things, like running the ball, not too many penalties, no turnovers. So again, execution, running the ball, 100 yards. Nick Singleton, shout out you, man. But again, you saw him execute, was very important. And then the depth conversation. Again, 17 guys catching the ball. You love to see it.
74 overall players played.
Yeah.
And meaningful downs. So they weren't just
snaps.
Slappy's going in the third and fourth quarter is like we used to call them the victory cigars when he used to warm up the fourth team center. You'd be like, just if he's going in, put your cigar on because the game's over. So, like I said, James has done fantastic the last 2 weeks, and that is having guys playing meaningful downs out there, and because it's going to pay off in the long run. You're gonna have a game when you need those guys to come in and play. And if it was their first game getting thrown into a situation, we'd have an issue. I don't think we're going to have an issue going forward.
Yeah, I want to welcome everybody for joining us here on the live stream of the Blue White Players Show from Champs Downtown. We're going to do this every Monday night at 6 p.m. here on the social feeds of statecollege.com and onwardstate.com. So we appreciate you joining us. In our next segment, we're going to talk to Nick Dawkins, center on the Penn State football team. Then we'll have Tyler Elsdon, the starting middle linebacker, a little bit later in the show. And I want to continue that depth conversation, Aeneas, because there are a lot of storylines actually coming out of this Ohio game. But to me, that's one of them. We're going to talk to Nick about the opportunity he and a lot of his other teammates had to get meaningful snaps. And we joke a lot about coach speak and what the coaches say in the press conference and what gets talked about in the preseason. But I really felt like this, over the last 2 weeks, the situation where you saw James really put his money where his mouth was, because he kept emphasizing in his preseason press conferences, his media availabilities, that depth was going to be something they were going to prioritize this year. And I'm just curious, specifically along the line of scrimmage, defensive line, offensive line, what did you see out of the team against Ohio?
Well, yeah, first things first, it's a violent game up front. If you watch it for 5 minutes, you understand that, right? And you play a grueling Big Ten schedule, it can be challenging to keep guys healthy for the entirety of the season. You look back to the last 2 seasons, depth was a limiting factor and a big contributor in the limited success that Penn State football had. I think I saw some good things. Obviously, Nick Singleton, 10 carries, 179 yards. As talented as he is,
you okay?
As talented as he is, obviously, it's not a one-man band. I saw the O-line doing some good things on that first big run he had. I saw Sal Wormley pulling and kicking that corner out. So these are the things that you want to see, good signs.
That wasn't a kick out.
Listen, I'll let the O-line talk about the O-line play.
That was a booty kicking.
Booty kicking, there it is.
Beautiful.
But then again, the defensive line, not a whole lot of splash plays still waiting to see that. But that safety down there was a good sign. Shows they can play the run and they're going to be a physical bunch down the line.
I mean, hey, the offensive line played very well again. Put a lot of guys in, rotating a lot of guys through. I mean, get that monkey off their back. 17 straight games of not having a 100-yard rusher. That's not us. That's not Penn State. It's not the Big Ten. And the fact that we got it off early in the game, with Nick just turning that corner, I mean, who'd it look like to you? Who'd it look like to you? I mean, you're a young buck.
Look like a young Saquon to me. I don't want to put the pressure on.
Let's stop. Let's let the guy play more than 2 games in blue and white.
Did you see the offhand going like this? And he was about 0.3 of a second from doing this, giving the deuces.
It was pretty.
My personal opinion, that's what he looked like turning that corner. I would say somebody my age, but he wouldn't know who the hell I was talking about.
Who are we talking here?
Yeah, he's not as big as Key.
Oh, okay.
Key Johnny, I mean.
Kajana's a Cincinnati guy, though.
I understand that, but Kajana was a big boy.
No doubt about it.
Nick's going to grow into that. I see Saquon in there.
Yeah.
I really do. The way he was turning that corner. And
his acceleration, man.
Oh, God. It was like he hit that probably a third or fourth gear.
Yep.
And that corner had an angle on him, and he thought he did, and gone. Beautiful.
I do want to talk a little bit about, you're talking about old guys, right? Since we've got old school and new school here. Everyone on this team was in elementary school the last time Ohio came to Beaver Stadium. None of the coaching staff was here. But this one meant a little something to fans and alumni and a lot of the Lettermen, because the last time Ohio came here, I don't know how much you even know or think about it, but for us, that was a very emotional game because it was Penn State's first time out of the tunnel without Joe Paterno leading the team in literally half a century.
Yep.
And the sanctions, Bill O'Brien's team, and we dropped an emotional game. You talked about how that team was just out of gas.
They got off the bus at 10:15, and they were 30,000 people outside of the locker room. I mean, you can't tell me. We had Mike Marty on the show this week for the obligatory show, and he's just talking, and you could see it. I mean, these guys were just so hyped up because they had so much, and it was, again, not their fault, but they were the ones dealing with all this stuff, with the sanctions and the repercussions from it. So they got off the buses, and there's 25,000 people there who were just happy to have Penn State back. Happy. And these guys are at 10:30 in the morning. I mean, they're spiritual. They're sky high. Running out of the field at 11:52 and this and that. They're rocking and rolling. By about 3:22, when they needed to reach down and get something out of their inner fortitude, they had nothing.
Right.
They were just completely gone. And no fault of their own.
I got to correct myself. I said everybody on the team was in elementary school. I think Sean was probably just like a senior in high school.
Yeah, Sean was at least 19 years old. At least 19. But fun fact, that game was the first Penn State football game I remember watching. Back home, I'm in the 7th grade.
And you still came here.
Still came here, but I'll say it's cool to see 10 years removed from that situation. Those players having to deal with a situation that they had no control over personally. Right. To see where Penn State is now, obviously with more to accomplish. But let's keep it in perspective here. We've done a lot and we've grown a lot since that moment.
I love it. And I love the feeling of ownership you have in that. That you understand you're now part of that continuum and part of the community. A couple other things I want to rattle off just from the Ohio game that I thought were positive. I thought we saw a great week 1 performance out of the secondary, and I thought they followed that up again, just making plays, showing depth. When you talk about 17 different guys catching a pass, that wasn't just garbage time. That was a rotation of guys getting meaningful snaps. And again, we're teasing the fact that Mike Motti joined us on Obligatory this week. Motti talked about it. He said that now you have tape on all 17 of those guys. And so Auburn is going to have to look at different types of players, not just what we know from Parker Washington and Condre Lambert-Smith. They're going to have to look at a guy like Amari Evans and say, that guy may get into a high-pressure situation. We got to know what his game is. We got to know how to defend him.
Yeah, no, I would just say, as a defense, you come in with a package and what you want to run. The more you have to think about and the more you have to prepare for, it kind of dilutes what you do best down, right? It makes it hard to continue to come out there, have a plan of attack for every snap, who you're dealing with. You saw Amari do some good things. Harrison Wallace is another guy that's flashing a lot of potential to me. Again, the more guys that we can develop depth with, the better, because there are going to be times where Parker Washington is getting bracketed. Maybe it's Keandre Lambert-Smith one week. If we have that 3rd, 4th, 5th guy that can come in and contribute at a high level, Penn State offense is going to be in a good situation.
Just when you get in there as a young buck in the offensive defensive line, and I don't know, I can't speak of the skill positions, but
hey, come on now. Offensive line is the skill position.
Offensive lineman, we are the skill position. There's no doubt about it.
There we go.
Geez. No, but I just you get out there and your first play, you're so hyped up in this and that. You think it's going to be like, you're playing against the 85 Chicago Bears and this and that, But you're so well coached and you've seen everything, you've done everything. That happens in slow motion.
Yep.
There's 107,000 people yelling and screaming at you, and you were so hyped up to get out there. You get out there and it's like, okay, I can do this. You make that first play, you make that first block. Oh my God, I can do this. This is awesome. This is so much fun. As a defensive lineman, you get down your first, and you're probably scared. You're shaking a little bit because your first play in front of all these people. The fact that we have all these kids rotating through meaningful down. I'm going to keep hammering that meaningful down.
Yeah, I think it's a great point.
They're not playing against the scabs. I mean, these guys are playing meaningful downs early in the game, and it's going to pay off because we are going to need them in the future.
Yep.
This season, it's going to happen. There will be a game when it's needed.
Do you know what makes me happy?
When we don't touch the table and it squeaks?
Well, yes, it does. Yeah, very much. But other than that we have gotten through this entire segment. Nick Dawkins joining us on the other side of the break without talking about the quarterback position at all. Because you're a defensive guy. Do you hate quarterbacks?
I've never liked quarterbacks.
Yeah. So who cares about talking about quarterbacks?
Sean had a tough week. I mean, he was around when the Queen when she got coronated back in the day. I mean, he's seen a lot. It was a very tough day for him,
Get it out of your system. Get it out of your system. Great performance out of both quarterbacks. I thought that's very encouraging. It's good to know you got that depth. It's good to know that your starter had a good game going into what's going to be a very tough test down there in Auburn. I mean, don't let the first 2 weeks fool you. They are going to come ready to play with Penn State coming to town.
Well, you know my theory on it, and we'll talk about it in the next couple segments. I mean, this is in Alabama. I mean, we're talking about an SEC team. I get it. I know it's a tough place to play.
Alabama.
It's in Alabama. I know it's a tough place to play, but hey, man, we're still freaking Penn State.
Yep.
And they're struggling down there.
Yes,
so
they
go
are.
down there with an attitude, a cocky attitude, walk in there, say, this is our house, take it, don't give me any chance. Shut that crowd up quick, man.
Goon, Aeneas, good conversation, guys. I love it. We are going to jump to a break. On the other side, we're going to have Penn State center Nick Dawkins joining us here on the Players Show. Stay with us. We're live from Champs Downtown.
People always ask me what Champs is like during the day because we do get crazy at night, but we're just a normal workplace.
It's good, bro.
What's good, bro? How your weekend going?
It's all right, bro. How's yours?
Man, just chilling. You catch the game the other day?
Nah, I did.
That boy Steph Curry, he's something serious. Yeah.
Right now, I need you to high five your best friend. High five your best friend right now. Yes. Welcome back from vacation. vacation, Sean?
Good.
Make more good in the all-new Sportage X-Pro. Kia, movement that inspires.
This is the place where roadside markets are filled with fruits and vegetables, small batch jams and made from scratch pies, where mountain trails are explored with friends with names like Ghost and Traveler, where award-winning wines, craft-made beers, and spirits are raised, hearty meals are served, and nights are shared under star-filled skies. This is Center County, Pennsylvania. To find out all that's happening, visit us at happyvalleyagventures.com.
Hey, Penn State fans, it's game time, and Seonca is hitting the field with 40 dealerships and 25 franchises in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. That means more choices and the perfect new or pre-owned vehicle priced to fit your budget. Plus, factory-trained service experts are just minutes away, and you can feel confident you're doing business with a family that treats you like family. We're a proud partner of Penn State Athletics and preferred auto dealer of the Penn State Alumni Association. The Seonca dealerships. Experience the difference.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Blue and White Players Show, live from Champs Downtown. Doing it every Monday at 6 p.m. here on the social feeds of Onward State and statecollege.com. Quick note, you see we've got this lovely Penn State replica helmet here on the table. All season long, we are going to have every Nittany Lions player and Letterman who joins us on the show sign this, and we're going to have more details for you starting next week, but we're supporting Special Olympics of Pennsylvania, honoring the legacy of Coach Paterno. Anyone who donates in any amount to the Paterno Fund at the Special Olympics throughout the entire calendar year is going to be entered in for a chance to win this one-of-a-kind helmet. So it's going to be very cool. Tyler and Nick are going to sign it. Goon and Aeneas are going to sign it. It's going to be a very cool keepsake, and you can support a great cause in support of Coach Paterno and his legacy in Special Olympics of PA. So we want to welcome Nick Dawkins now for joining us. Nick, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thunder.
So you want to talk about? Go ahead. Yeah.
I've been waiting a while. Chocolate Thunder's kid, baby. Wearing my number, wearing his dad's number. I absolutely love it. I told Nick before the show, I said I was a little kid. I went down to the Sixers, and I mean, I'm talking the early 80s before Moses Malone. So Daryl was there playing. And we were down low on the ground. I've never seen a human being that big in my life. And I mean, the physical play that was going on. And looking back, and I had talked to Aeneas about some of your stuff, and he was laughing. He's like, you know, you can always tell when Nick's going to have a good practice because he watching his dad game tapes. And stuff
yeah.
Like it's up for you. Dude, some of the stuff he was doing back in the day,
ahead of his time.
I loved him.
Ahead of his time. No, he's not joking. Like, we have winter workouts. You know, winter is a serious time for us getting prepared. You gotta walk in the building with your hat on, your hard hat on, your lunch cup, ready to go to work. So I had to get my mind right in the morning, right before, watch some of those highlights, get that mentality in me.
That tape will get you juiced up every single time.
You ain't joking. There's some fight in there too, man. It's
unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Roberto Duran out there on midcourt. I got to give him credit, man. He was tough as hell, and in a very, very, very physical era. You know, and God rest his soul, man. I loved him with the Sixers, and you know, I told you he was down at my buddy's bar every once in a while. I'd walk in, and I'd be like, Jesus, you know, holy crap, you know, there's a big ass man right there. But always a nice guy, very nice to talk to and hang out with. Always nice to people. But Mark Brennan had sent me a video of you as a young kid. He was talking on, and I saw your interview. You were calling him like pretty much like he was a rapper before.
Yeah, absolutely.
The whole rap game was all about it. It was so funny listening to him. And I'm like, and you're like, he's not just spinning. He like that's like real. And that was like amazing
Genuine.
what he was doing.
Yeah, genuine.
Great word. Awesome.
So, Nick, just introduce yourself to the audience, where you're from, and tell us how you ended up at Penn State. Why did you choose to come here, and a little bit about your recruitment to get here to Penn State?
Absolutely. Nick Dawkins, as you know, from Allentown, Pennsylvania, a little bit outside of Philadelphia. My dad at the time worked for, he was an ambassador for the 76ers and for the Nets. So it was right in between. It was good. He could get in within like 45 minutes of each. So it was good. We were right there settled. He coached for a semi-pro basketball team, the Valley Dogs at the time, right in Bethlehem. Met my mom there.
Well.
Yeah, so we settled right there. And then I'm from the area. I was never a big, my dad liked watching the NFL, so we watched the Ravens only, watch Ed Reed and Ray Lewis play. So I didn't really get into college ball, but my grandparents loved Penn State. They loved the Nittany Lions. So that's the only college team I watched. So my first college football game, Penn State, it was almost like written in stone for me. I had told them that's where I'm going to play. They told me, if you go anywhere, it has to be blue, and it has to be Penn State blue. So I didn't have many options.
Your mom is from the area?
Yes,
okay,
yep. She's from the area as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm a mama's boy too, so I had to be close to moms, close to my sisters. I'm the man of my house, so it was the best decision for me to be near my home so my family can get to the games, do them that service. They've done so much sacrifice for me. The least I could do was go to a school where they could come to my games if anything was wrong. I'd car right away.
Yep. Everybody says they're mama's boys, but they don't have to say it. I mean, we all know we're all mama's boys. Right. There's no doubt about it.
Completely agree. Can you go into a little bit of detail about what recruitment actually looked like for you? I know Rutgers offered you. Tell the Rutgers story a little bit and how you ended up here.
Yeah, so I didn't really know too much about the recruiting process. I mean, it changes year after year after year. I thought I was in a movie, so I went to Rutgers my sophomore year of high school, and I'm like, if you offer me, I'll just commit. Like, I didn't really know what either of that really meant. I didn't know. Immediately. I still thought like scholarship meant you send me in the mail and I signed it and I'm good to go, free school. So told them like, okay, we'll offer you. I committed. No Twitter, no social media, no anything. I didn't really meet anything. So time went on.
Who was coaching? Was it Shiano there?
Ash, Coach Ash. So time goes on. I'm in my junior year. I make a Twitter. Finally, my high school coach is like, you got to make that. You're going to be a big time guy. Like, what are you doing? So I made it. Coaches start contacting me. I'm posting offers. Never posted my Rutgers offer. They're like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on here? So then I had to basically put an end to that. Went through the whole process. Started blowing up randomly at the end of my junior year. I was in like a study hall for high school. I got like 4 offers. It was like Kansas. It was Kansas. Well, I guess the Rutgers, Tennessee, and Indiana all in one day. And all my guys were sitting at the lunch table like, oh my God. They're like, we made it. I'm like, we made it. But I'm like, oh my gosh, it's getting real. So then Penn State hit me up, like come to a visit, came to visit with my mom, loved it, enjoyed the atmosphere. Coach Franklin, one of the as real as it gets, told me what it was, didn't cherry pick anything, didn't try to sugar it up for me. That's what I appreciated that. Talked to me like a man. I thought I was a man at the time. I've obviously grown, but I thought I was older than I was. And I enjoyed it. Yeah, of course. But I've grown now and I understand, and I'm happy with my decision.
Oh, excellent, man. Good to hear.
Absolutely. I want you to know you're in good company because Saquon Barkley and Jordan Hill, I know for sure, both committed to Rutgers and then ended up flipping to Penn State. So, it's okay. It's all right.
That's happening? We just cherry pick all the...
Well, I'm not going to say there's a pecking order, but there's a pecking order.
Very nice.
So we talked about it a little bit in the previous segment, Nick, but I just wondered if you could talk a little bit about the game against Ohio. It was a great opportunity for you to get in and play a lot of snaps.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Going into my 3rd year now, I've been preparing. Like I always, the one thing that I try to do to set me apart is just prepare. Always be ready. You never know when your number's gonna be called. Because even if like when you're a 3 or a 4, you're 3 plays away from getting in, no matter what the situation is. Yeah. So I just try to prepare like I'm a starter. Prepare like I'm going in right away. And it's good that like when you get into the game, it's a whole different feeling because you have all these stigmas in your head. Like, okay, who am I going against? I'm gonna work this and work that. But when you get down to it, it's ball. It's ball when you get out there. It's war. It's you versus another person. If a double team got some extra help, you're moving a man from point A to point B.
Now my question's going to be, you're dealing with 3 different quarterbacks out there this week, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's got. I mean, it's a very odd thing that happens in football, but I mean, all quarterbacks have a different feel, if you know what I mean.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
you got to know all of these guys. So you worked with all three?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, practice, you get reps of put guys in different situations.
Drop down with the 2s and the 3s.
Yeah, especially like at pregame, just getting snaps with everybody and such. But Coach Tranquill does a good job of sprinkling guys in like uncomfortable situations so that they can grow.
Absolutely.
And that's what he's done for me, getting reps with all these guys, and even my freshman year, just everybody, getting reps with everybody after practice, before practice has helped a lot.
Did you get starstruck yet playing?
No, not yet.
Nobody lined up across from you, you're like, oh my God.
No, not yet.
There he is.
It's one of those things. It's crazy, right? You're like, wow, I thought he looks bigger on television.
The only time PJ Mustard my freshman year, I'm like, wow, I can't believe he's that fat. No,
Wow.
I'm just joking.
Wow.
I'm just joking.
Wow, tough talk.
Now you know why we have a players show.
There you go.
This is the players show.
This is what it's supposed
this
to be.
one you don't get in a coach's show.
Not at all. I want to circle back real quick to something you said. Aside from PJ Mustard's body type, it's, I guess, irrelevant now.
Gentle hands.
Or Sean's gentle hands. You talked about, you're in year 3, right?
Yeah.
You're a guy that has a great opportunity to play in the future, but you've had to grind for 3 years, really away from the limelight. How do you keep your mindset on getting better? Because that can't be easy. I know I lived it. I never ended up being close to good enough to play, which you will be, but how do you stay in that mindset?
That's a tough part. All athletes go through it. You know that. When you think you're better than somebody, or you think you're better than the situation you're in, you have to, it humbles you. And I had to get real humble. I thought I was a humble guy before, but those situations set me up to be better. And one thing that really helped, I talked with my guy Aaron Brooks on the wrestling team. All Penn State people should know who that is.
Yep.
Great dude. He taught me, like, you really need to look at your situation and evaluate how can you get better from everything, because you're not where you want to be at. You're not. Even if you're the best, can you be better? And he really helped me just establish that mentality.
100%.
Every great player that you play with, who's the best player you play with on this team? I guarantee you he's probably one of the hardest workers.
The best player I played with on this team.
Just in general. I'm just saying, in my
general rule.
In my world, growing up and this and that, playing here and doing everything outside, always the best players were the hardest working guys.
Absolutely.
I worked with Jeff Hardings, was my roommate for 5 years, and Jeff was a 2-time All-American here, and he was the hardest man on himself. And we're like, dude, you're killing people.
Yeah.
Like, okay, man, you're doing it already. I don't know, man, my hands weren't ready. My left hand's not. I mean, that's what makes them. That makes the greater. The greatest.
Of course.
I had O.J. McDuffie when I was very, very, very young. And he worked and he worked and worked and worked, and it was just like you learn from a guy like that. I mean you know Saquon. I mean, you guys weren't here with him, right? So I mean, he was probably one of the most hardest workers out there, right? And you don't get a body like that. You don't act like play like that without working hard. And it's always the biggest thing is you got to stay hungry, because you're one play away from getting in there, and that's one of the things that I'm going to talk to you about, and that is the difference in the old school and new school is you're in your 3rd year. We weren't expected to be even on the field until our 3rd year. You've been expected to play at an early age. That's the difference in 105 scholarships and 85 scholarships. So you guys have been pushing the fire pretty damn early.
Yeah.
So you get put in there, you want to get put in those tough situations, and you want to, obviously you want to thrive, but if you fail, you got to get better from your failure.
Of course.
And you guys, it's a different world out there for you guys, but I love what you're saying. I love what I'm hearing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I'm also curious, Nick, about your life off the field. What are you majoring in?
Recreation, park, tourism management. I really want to focus on nonprofits and impacting my community.
Cool. So what's a favorite class you've had so far at Penn State?
So I had RPTM 456. It was an event planning, but it was real. They put
you in a 400 level class already. I mean, this is your 3rd year on campus.
Yeah, I mean, I early enrolled, so I'm going to graduate here soon. So I'm a little bit ahead.
That's another thing that's so different from when you guys were here, right? Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, all good.
Graduation with multiple degrees and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the goal, and that's why you go to Penn State. That's why you go to Penn State, because you have some.
You're 4.5 years here. You walk out of here with 2 degrees, and it's like, wow. And it's changed a little bit, just so the people out there know. It's about a 15 points, or credits.
Credits.
And then a lot more credits transfer to different majors now than they used to.
Yeah.
So you guys can do, and it's great for you guys. It's fantastic. I'm so happy for you guys. So don't think that I'm a crotchety old guy. I got to say it all week because of the NIL. And I am happy as hell for you guys to go out there and get this money. Because it's stuff we didn't get.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And you guys deserve it. I'm happy you guys are getting out there and getting it. But our fans are going to sit there and say, you know what, there's not much difference in the players now and then. It really isn't. We're all the same people. And that's the best part about it. And that's what we're trying to do with this show is, let the people know again, not coach speak. This is real speak. This is a bunch of guys just sitting around talking, and the fans are going to love this. So
absolutely, yeah.
Keep it going, man.
Sophomore eligibility. I can't even keep track of it anymore with COVID, but sophomore eligibility center Nick Dawkins.
You got 3 more years than if you had COVID year.
4, yeah, 4. Counting this year, 4. Yeah.
You guys are 2-0. You're getting ready for the big road trip into SEC country. We wish you a lot of luck. We appreciate you joining us here on the Blue and White Players Show. We got linebacker Tyler Elsdon joining us on the other side of the break. Stay with us here from Champs Downtown. It's the Blue and White Players Show. We'll be right back.
People always ask me what Champs is like during the day because we do get crazy at night, but we're just a normal workplace.
It's good, bro.
What's good, bro? How your weekend going?
It's all right, bro. How's yours?
Man, just chilling. You catch the game the other day?
Nah, I haven't.
That boy Steph Curry, he's something serious. Yeah.
Right now, I need you to high five your best friend. High five your best friend right now. Yes. Welcome back from vacation, Sean.
Good.
Make more good in the all-new Sportage X-Pro. Kia, movement that inspires.
This is the place where roadside markets are filled with fruits and vegetables, small batch jams and made from scratch pies, where mountain trails are explored with friends with names like Ghost and Traveler, where award-winning wines, craft-made beers, and spirits are raised, hearty meals are served, and nights are shared under star-filled skies. This is Center County, Pennsylvania. To find out all that's happening, visit us at happyvalleyagventures.com.
Hey, Penn State fans, it's game time, and Seonca is hitting the field with 40 dealerships and 25 franchises in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. That means more choices and the perfect new or pre-owned vehicle priced to fit your budget. Plus, factory-trained service experts are just minutes away, and you can feel confident you're doing business with a family that treats you like family. We're a proud partner of Penn State Athletics and preferred auto dealer of the Penn State Alumni Association. The Seonca dealerships. Experience the difference.
Everybody to the Blue and White Players Show as Goon smacks me in the head. It's all right. It's live, fake television.
Well, that sunburn we got Saturday.
We're here at Champs Downtown. We're coming to you as we will all season long, 6 p.m. on Monday nights. That's redundant, I guess, on the social feeds of Onward State and StateCollege.com. I'm Chris Buccanati, joined by Keith, Goon, Conlin, and Aeneas Hawkins. And now we got sophomore linebacker Tyler Elsdon, a Frackville guy. Yep. I love it. I love it.
Scoop 'em.
That is Penn State football. When we got a coal region guy starting one of the linebacker spots, that's what it's all about. Thanks for joining us, Tyler.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. Elsdon, I would have thought a coal region guy was a little grittier, on the surface, but a little disappointed.
Right out of the gate.
We picked the right guy.
He came out right away. No, I think I'm a pretty gritty guy. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know. I lived with him, so he kind of knows the gist. He's just trying to cover it up. But
so you want to
I'm just trying to figure out the middle linebacker, number 43, wearing mustaches all the time. I have no idea. I mean, it's something. Is that part of your NIL contract? You got mustache?
No. So the thing is,
cornbread mustache to wear in 43.
Now the thing is, so in high school,
the Josh Hole, by the way.
The high school, I had a mustache as well. Now high school was more so peach fuzz, and I think it was sophomore year I started dyeing it just for men, jet black. It was terrible.
Oh my God.
But I always thought I wanted to be this guy with a stash.
Like a little Burt Reynolds look.
Yeah. I also had these ugly. I had these chops. I get that a lot.
I mean, you look like you're ready to kick a door down.
Well, I get that a lot. It's kind of funny because I've dressed up as a cop in high school one day for whatever reason, but I had these chops as well. So I came in. I definitely looked like a dirt ball of some sort. But
you look like if you open up Lviv.
Yeah, I try to
1970s.
clean up a little bit. I keep the stash now, but I've always had the stash. I don't have
legit hair game.
Yeah, I don't have to dye it anymore, thank God. But I figure I'll probably keep this stash through my career here and shit, probably the rest of my life. I don't know.
Aeneas and I know the #1 stash in the history of Penn State football being
Chuck Losey.
Brian Milne.
No, Brian Milne. Okay. Respect to
I
Brian.
don't
No, Losey's is pretty
I think
good.
it has its own number. I mean, it needed to have a hold on. I mean,
It's gotten better with time.
Oh, of course. I mean, he came in, he was 18 years old, and I was like, oh, dude, is that Magnum PI over there? We got a lot of Brian Milne talking the last 2 weeks.
You want to talk about the old school, new school thing. For the young folks watching, Brian Milne was a fullback on the 94 team. Look him up. And for the older folks who don't know, Chuck Losey's our new strength and conditioning coach. Absolutely amazing handlebar.
He has.
Oh, absolutely.
This is elite.
It's impressive.
He's
a 1A guy. He's
Extremely
impressive.
Okay, so my job is to keep this thing on the rails, so I'm just going to button up the mustache talk here. Tyler, can you just tell us a little bit about the path that brought you from your high school playing career here to Happy Valley?
Yeah, so I played in a small high school. My graduating class was 110, and I've been playing football since I was 4 or 5 years old. I was a water boy before that. My dad was a youth football coach, and he just did it because he loved the game and loved giving back. He was always working with kids, my mom and dad being foster parents too, so they were always involved in the community and stuff like that. So, growing up, I just loved the game. I loved it. I loved playing. I was like being aggressive. I kind of like took out a lot of my maybe anger when I was a kid and stuff like that. But, as I grew, the love for the game also grew. So, got into high school, freshman year, main goal was to play. Just worked towards that. Got the starting job, both sides of the ball. Sophomore year comes, played good. Junior year comes, had a good season, but I didn't have any interest, legitimate interest, until I was going in my senior year.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to get notoriety coming out of a small high school, especially.
Are you the first from your high school to play Division I?
No, so the thing is, Gino Capone, I went to North Schuylkill in Frackville, but Gino Capone, he played linebacker here. He's at
Saturday.
Yeah, he was a North Schuylkill guy.
I had to give him some crap. He didn't bring in Kovalenix.
Kovalenix, yeah, that's in Shendo. I bring Kovalenix up here.
Man.
Actually, Hawk's a fan of those. I actually brought him up. Yeah. I bring it up all the time. I have some in my freezer right now.
I would go down to the fridge when Elsdon would go to sleep and just take as many as I wanted and run back upstairs.
The Kilbo.
It's off the rails again when it comes to food.
No, it's good. I'm going to let it run.
But
oh man, the Kovalenix, the fresh and the smoked, 1 hour boiled, boom boom.
You got the Kilbo, you got the Boilo, and you got a good thing cooking. So
you guys are losing me fast.
Yeah. So I have some friends from Tennessee who send up moonshine, and they were home this past weekend. And everybody from the region who comes in my tailgate said, "Oh, you got Boilo." No, it's moonshine. Moonshine. So I know very, very well. I had Mike Malinowski from Shendo.
Yep,
the guy I played with.
Shendo.
So
my high school coach coached him actually. He was at Shendo when he was there. Yep.
Yeah, we used to go up there and do some tournaments and basketball and golf weekends and stuff like that, and tear it up and back to State College. So fun times, good people.
Oh, absolutely.
People.
Okay, so senior year.
So going in my
some offers.
Yeah, so going into my senior year that summer, I kind of blew up. I did. So I got some small ones. A lot of kids usually don't, especially at this level. You kind of get them early. I got some MAC schools. UMass was my first one. The Ivy League, stuff like that. Did well in school. Kind of set myself up. But I went to West Virginia a lot. Went to camp there, earned a scholarship. Louisville, Vanderbilt, stuff like that. And then Penn State was my last offer. I think I ended up somewhere around 30 offers, but Penn State was my last one. I came to camp, didn't get it. The first time I came to camp, I was heartbroken. That's when I really realized, I was like, I want to be here. Obviously, my area wanted me to be here. But that camp, I was like, this is a place for me. Talked to Coach Franklin, had a great conversation, came back, earned the scholarship, committed that day. I think I said, I was like, hey, Coach, when he offered me a scholarship, my mom's crying, my dad's overjoyed. I said, I think I'm 99% sure this is where I'm coming. My mom's like, well, I'll give you that extra 1%, you're coming here. So it was kind of you know, it's a dream come true. I think every day I look around, I'm so grateful for the opportunity. And yeah, it's definitely a dream come true. And like my area just goes crazy about it. So I'm also grateful for having the support system that I do.
Yes, so that's a big thing. When a hometown Pennsylvania guy goes to Penn State, and we were talking a little bit before we started filming today, you really got a dedicated rooting interest from your home community, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So when Coach Franklin announced the starting job, Mike linebacker, it kind of blew up my area. They gave me a bunch of support, even when I wasn't playing all too much, just special teams and even less than that. But obviously, the first game was Purdue. People couldn't make it, so they had block parties. Firehouses were holding watch parties.
Firehouses.
The Elks had a huge outdoor.
The 65 firehouses. Had
all of them. All of them.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's crazy. We got firehouses, bars, and churches. That's what we got. But
this is true.
Yeah, so they had a watch party outdoors. News watch, like the news stations were coming and like interviewing my parents. Like it was a big deal. Hundreds of people. You know, Tyler's picks on the menus, food, drinks, all that stuff. So they kind of had everything laid out.
You
so
get paid?
I did not. I usually don't like to do stuff like back home because they've given me so much. It kind of feels wrong almost to take from I respect them. But, yeah, the support was crazy. And I talked to Coach Franklin about it. It was wild because my high school, they had a Penn State / Tyler Elsdon dress down day on Thursday.
Jeez.
Because we have a dress code. Everybody came in Penn State gear, wearing the Elsdon jersey. The teachers were sending me pictures of the stuff. So it was a big deal. Coach Franklin loved it. I showed him some of it. So I guess to answer your question, yeah, there's a bunch of support, and I'm so grateful for it.
It's really freaking awesome.
Yeah. You
talked about your mom and dad in the office with Coach Franklin, crying, excited to get the scholarship offer. You've been making starts lately. You made your first start against Purdue. What was that like when you talked to your parents after that game? Were they thrilled for you?
Oh, they were extremely thrilled. Now, the game ended pretty late, so you could imagine if you're at a watch party at Firehouses drinking and stuff like that. But they were extremely thrilled. That whole weekend was honestly one of the best weekends of my life. I'm just so humbled. I did not. I thought about it, but this weekend was a big one. Starting this game, to see my face on the billboard, that's one of the things my dad's been talking about. And he said, like, the next time I'll cry is when I see your face up there. So obviously they announced it on that. It was a huge deal. Probably had one of the best days of my life this Saturday. I spent a lot of time with family and stuff like that. So it just really drives me to see like how much they love and how much they sacrifice for me and keep giving me and keep supporting me. It really drives me to keep just doing better. Just growing as a person, growing as a player, and just taking advantage of every opportunity.
Is key, man.
Absolutely.
It really is.
Yeah.
Anybody at home you talk to Gino at all?
I do. Yeah. I know him. He lives like right next to my high school, and my best friend's uncle is good friends with him. So there's a birthday party. Oh yeah. The last time I was home, I think I talked to him for about an hour, 2 hours. So we have a pretty good relationship building. So yeah, it's definitely cool.
Just so you know, in football, even if Gino wasn't even a Penn State guy, or you weren't, you would just say you were a best friend, he would still talk to you.
Oh, yeah.
That's just how football is. I mean, there's a brotherhood about
it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know, I'm happy to see what you're doing out there. I mean, you're playing great.
I appreciate that.
Out there, rocking the stash. we gotta get some people talking about it. I mean, is it?
I was kind of hoping someone would say something about it sooner or later, but
I mean, 15 years ago it was a big thing, but now it's I mean, Christo, you guys were no shaving, correct? No, okay.
Joe wasn't having any of that.
Mustaches were allowed.
Yeah. Like I said, you go back and you look at the Levies from the 1970s,
I'll
the team
have to take a look.
A lot of mustaches, a lot of chops.
Yeah.
So, away from the ball, what's your major, Tyler?
Yeah, so I'm studying health policy administration with a minor in kinesiology. I'm kind of up in the air. I've been changing a little bit. I love learning about the body. I love like sports in general. And then healthcare in general. So like health policy, you could work in healthcare, you could work in nursing homes, you could be CEO of a hospital. There's a lot of different avenues. So I'm really kind of just diving into it. I kind of changed my major around a little bit, but I'm really liking this, and I think there's going to be a lot of good opportunities with it.
Absolutely no shame in changing your major around. That's how you got to do it.
Yeah. Real quick, though, I want to bring something back to mind because I know this. I was your roommate last year. You talk about studying the body and your fascination with that. I remember a time in the winter, I think, that you came home from a workout and said, Aeneas, I'm going to the lake, and I'm going to sit in it. You're going to cut out a piece of ice. Talk to me about that. Is that something that you legitimately do to prepare? I think people need to know this about their starting middle linebacker.
Yeah, so there's certain things that I do. Like, I'll see, like, I like challenging my body, kind of trying different things. I'm a big nature guy, so just even taking walks, hikes, stuff like that. But I saw a video of Khabib, a fighter, swimming in a frozen river.
Eastern European.
It was just stuck in my head, and I could not go to bed that day without going and just doing it. So I ended up driving to the lake. The lake was frozen. So
What time of year is this?
Oh, it was winter.
Okay.
It was freezing. The lake was completely frozen. I didn't bring a shovel or an axe or anything, so I just kept walking. And there was a watershed, so the water's moving. It wasn't frozen. Looked around, no one was there. Got undressed and took a little plunge.
On this stuff, right?
You
No,
know,
he hasn't done this is where the cold tubs come from, bro. I'm telling
There's,
you.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff like cardiovascular and stuff like that, stress, like everything, like inflammation. So there's a lot of stuff from it. But for me, it was more so, you know, really just connecting with nature. And I've always been like that, and kind of just putting myself in a situation that most people wouldn't do. And when I told myself initially, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And then someone told me, he's like, nah, you won't. I had to do it.
I had to. Did you know that there were benefits to it, or you just wanted to sit in the cold lake and?
I figured.
I figured
There's definitely something about it, but we're born to be a part of nature. That's just like human instinct. Like there's primal things about it. So I just knew like there's some kind of attachment to it, and I just felt drawn to it. So I tried it, and honestly, I loved it. It was a great day.
So a lot of the East German. This thing comes from the East German and Russian.
Listen,
like
I love this. So this is only our second episode ever of this show. We appreciate you joining us, Tyler. We're not even sure where it's going to go, but we got insight into our middle linebacker and some good tips for cold exposure. Absolutely, check it out. Yep, Wim Hof. Google him. All that stuff. We're going to have former Penn State quarterback Chris Ganter joining us on the other side of the break. This is all made possible by NIL, and he's going to have a lot to talk about on the other side. So stay with us here on the Blue and White Players Show. We will be right back.
People always ask me what chance is like during the day because we do get crazy at night, but we're just a normal workplace.
It's good, bro.
What's good, bro? How your weekend going?
It's all right, bro. How's yours?
Man, just chilling. You catch the game the other day?
Nah, I been.
That boy Steph Curry, he's something serious. Yeah.
I need you to high five your best friend. High five your best friend right now. Yes. Welcome back from vacation, Sean.
Good.
Make more good in the all-new Sportage X-Pro. Kia, movement that inspires.
This is the place where roadside markets are filled with fruits and vegetables, small batch jams and made from scratch pies, where mountain trails are explored with friends with names like Ghost and Traveler, where award-winning wines, craft-made beers, and spirits are raised, hearty meals are served, and nights are shared under star-filled skies. This is Center County, Pennsylvania. To find out all that's happening, visit us at happyvalleyagventures.com.
Hey, Hey, Penn State fans, it's game time, and Seonca is hitting the field with 40 dealerships and 25 franchises in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. That means more choices and the perfect new or pre-owned vehicle priced to fit your budget. Plus, factory-trained service experts are just minutes away, and you can feel confident you're doing business with a family that treats you like family. We're a proud partner of Penn State Athletics and preferred auto dealer of the Penn State Alumni Association. The Seonca dealerships. Experience the difference.
Good stuff. Welcome back, everybody, to the Blue and White Players Show, coming to you live from Champs downtown on South Allen Street, just off campus, across from the Allen Street gates, bringing you the story of Penn State's 2022 football season in the words of the Nittany Lions players themselves. Again, we want to thank Nick Dawkins and Tyler Elsdon for joining us. We'll be here every Monday night at 6 p.m. on the social feeds of Onward State and statecollege.com. You can get the podcast starting tomorrow, audio version on the Keystone Sports Network, and a little extra something on the obligatory PSU pregame show on television Friday and Saturday. Check your listings. I'm Chris Buchanani. I got Keith, Goon, Conlin, Aeneas Hawkins, and joining us for this segment, we have former Penn State quarterback Chris Christo Ganter.
/holder.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you did
it.
everything you like to say. So, Chris, we've talked a lot in just our first two episodes about how much college football has transformed in the last couple of years because of name, image, and likeness. You know, Goon has talked about what it was like when he was playing. They had to cut the bottoms off the schedule poster because they put an Eddie Bauer logo on it. I got Aeneas is working for Limitless with Sean Clifford. And you had a big announcement just this past week about a project you're working on with a lot of the Lettermen around NIL and Penn State football. So talk about it.
That's right. It's called Lions Legacy Club, and we are the first and only collective here at Penn State devoted to Penn State football and focusing specifically and strictly on football. It's something that we kind of came together on out of a sense of obligation for, the guys on the team who we consider our family, our brothers, and it hasn't been going as well as it should have, and these guys haven't been as successful as they deserve to be. And with how powerful Penn State is and how powerful our alumni base is, and this town and this community are, we need to do better because it's going to impact the future of the program, and we understand that, and I know the coaches and the staff in the program and the players do too. So we have to do something, and that's why we came together to do this thing as Lettermen.
Can you speak a little bit to the importance of having a football-specific collective, just especially as you look at schools around the country and what they're doing? How important is it that we have that at Penn State?
Well, first of all, Penn State is a powerhouse program, and it deserves to be treated that way. Penn State football, and there are 850 student athletes on this campus. It is a lot. I worked with individual athletes last year, and I learned how hard it is to even work with one or two athletes. And to figure something out for 850 student athletes, it's a lot. Not only to find deals and raise money for them, but actually execute those deals. It is a massive undertaking. And so the football program with 140 guys or whatever it is, and being as special and important to this university and this town as it is, deserves its own thing and needs its own thing.
Now, Chris, so I came back here right after you got done. I came back at 5, 6, 7, and the difference in when I left in '96 to then is it turned. You were expected to be here all year, but it turned into every weekend. I mean, it was when I was here, it was like, get your work done Friday, get your workout in Friday, get it over with, and you guys go ahead to somebody's house for a weekend. And they were some great trips, trust me.
Yeah.
That's only the exclusive player show.
Yeah,
so.
that's behind the paywall. Right?
No, but so like, what the kids go through now, and kids, I mean our student athletes, our football players, it is expected to be there on Saturdays, every weekend. Our off season, and you were part of this, and that was you lifted Monday, Wednesday, Friday, in the winter, and you had morning runs at 6 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday and Thursday. At 9 o'clock in the afternoon, and by 8 o'clock, you were done on Tuesday and Thursday. Mm-hmm. Now these guys are coming back and having film class, film room, and having meetings, on-field walkthrough meetings in the off-season.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know as well as I do, I mean, there'd have been a revolt back in the day, like,
oh yeah,
we were on our time.
Yeah.
So these, I mean, there was is there still a 20-hour rule? Because I don't think we ever really got close to it.
There's a rule. I don't know what exactly the hour number is, but there is a rule somewhere, yes.
Well, you guys having to go to films on Tuesday and Thursday, or some kind of walkthrough door. I mean, that was the stuff that we weren't doing. You know, our football was done, bowl game. The next time you saw a piece of film was spring practice. And now these guys are expected to have Tuesday and Thursday, have 3-hour meetings in the afternoon, and it's like you never have a chance to actually be a college kid. So this is more of a job than you and I ever had.
Yeah, and then when you throw on top of that the something that we didn't have to deal with, which is everybody with their phones and social media, so you like going out to bars and going to parties.
Let's say thank God for that.
I mean, that adds extra scrutiny that we didn't have to deal with. But I'm with you, yeah. I mean, every once in a while you would get a VHS tape that they would send you home with and like, hey, watch some film.
So I know we're playing Auburn this week, so I'll intro this question by saying I know probably in some places, I'm not making any insinuations, I'm just mentioning Auburn and saying there are probably some places where maybe there's a McDonald's bag full of cash and that's the extent of it. I know there is a lot on the back end, on the compliance side. When you talked about when you sign one of these deals, you don't just cut the check and walk away. You've got to make sure there's follow through, and there's a lot that goes into making these NIL deals work. And I'm sure Goon talks about all the demands on these guys' time, not as students, as football players. What do you do to take the burden off the student athlete when you're trying to put one of these deals together for them?
So that's actually one of the reasons why this kind of model has starting to take shape around the country, where some called collective, we like to call ours a club, but you know, to hustle all these deals together, it's like a lot of work to even do one of them, and then you know what's the return on it? Is it worth the time put in? That's how people that represent collegiate athletes are kind of thinking about it, and that started to unfold over the first year. So with something like this, and in our case, we have a 501c3 nonprofit as a part of ours, which nobody else has around here. We can actually get people to contribute for us to utilize or to help the players connect with a good cause around here. Okay. And so they're actually doing good in the community and making a difference that way. And we like to, you know, we want to be able to take care of everybody and help every player on the team out, and that's a great way we can do it to make it a little easier for everybody. And we also understand, like Keith was saying, their time is extremely valuable, and we have to be mindful of that. And that's why us, as former players, as Penn State football lettermen, are the perfect guys to do this because we understand it.
Yep. We were taught when we were playing by the old man was when you signed here, it was a lifetime decision. It was going to take care of you from start to finish. And then this is what you guys are doing, and that is you're trying to protect these kids because there are bad people out there who will take advantage and exploit these type of kids. And you're there to help us out, help these kids out, and you know they're going to be friends of you. You're still going to represent them even when they're not playing in college, and then it's their turn to come back 10 years from now and return the favor type of thing. So you want to keep it a family. You want to keep it football letterman. Football has always been the foundation of Penn State, and Chris is probably sick and tired of me saying this, but I've said for 2 years that we really don't have the infrastructure in State College to sustain this because the dollars have been tapped out by the university from local businesses. I mean, that's just business. That's just the way it is. I mean, we don't have.
Well, we're one of two campuses in the Big Ten, not counting the LA schools now coming in, that is not supported by a metro.
Correct.
Yep. Yeah. And then when you think about the state of Pennsylvania, you have the Steelers in the West and the Eagles in the East, and that's we'd be competing with them for these kind of traditional deals that a school like Oklahoma or Alabama is able to get because they dominate their state in terms of media.
Right, no competition from a professional program. Yeah. Whoever's going to take over at Nebraska, I'm sure we'll be thinking about the same thing.
Chris, I thought about that, and that is that, we have Pittsburgh. I mean, I'll only go back and say, you have, last year you had Ben Roethlisberger and Jalen Hurts. Why would they go after Sean Clifford? It would be a money thing. I'm sure Roethlisberger was much more expensive, and Jalen Hurts was much more expensive than getting Sean Clifford. Are you running into that where it's they're sort of like price shopping? You're going to go down to Philadelphia. You're not. saying we're not going in those areas.
And
you're actually going
yeah.
national.
I mean, yeah, it's in terms of the national piece. I mean, a sponsor like Pepsi for Penn State or Nike, Penn State is a regional, has a regional reach, and it's a little bit different with pro athletes, and even at the pro athlete level, there are very few who have national reach.
Yep.
And so that's why us having, kind of banding together, this is legitimately a plea to all Penn Staters that we got to come together and make this successful to help our team and help us continue to keep the players that we have and continue to recruit good ones.
I like to say it like this, Christo, and I've told people this, and again, you're probably sick of me saying it, but if 100,000 people give $100, it's a lot of money, $10 million, correct? Versus, I think that our fans are the ones out there saying, okay, well, I think they're just looking for that $10 million person. And that's not true. There is safety in numbers is the Penn State way. And to get involved, please give all your information out because anything helps. Mm-hmm. It's a collective. It's all going to go into the pot, and it's all going to go out of the pot into, take. And there's also you get tell the fans this isn't just straight paying players.
No,
you're just
not
not
at all.
Here's $100,000. Here, thanks for coming to Penn State.
Which is how it can be perceived by a lot of NIL crowds.
That's
how it's getting perceived.
For sure.
I said about Texas A&M this weekend. There was a lot of Appalachian State fans. This is the second time I rooted for Appalachian State in one game, other than Michigan a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? They're the poster boys for exploiting this and creating this unsustainable thing that they have going on there where they're just paying players.
Absolutely.
And the fact that they lost a big game just I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
So
to that point, I mean, it's not just money coming to us and we give money to players. That is not how this works at all. We are setting them up with opportunities, and in most cases for us, because we have the 501c3, things that are doing well in the community and actually having a genuine reach out to our community and to good causes in our community. And so that coupled with the Penn State football family, that vibe that we have around it, and the club atmosphere. I mean, we really want everyone to be a part of this. We might be the ones behind the scenes, kind of running things, but this is really all of us. That's why it's a club. There's benefits to being a part of it, and we want every Penn Stater to feel the same way we are.
So it's called Lions Legacy Club.
Yeah.
The website URL is lionslegacyclub.com. How can people get involved if they're watching or listening and they want to learn more?
Going to the website is a great way. We also have the social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Lions Legacy Club, one word. My personal contact information is on the website. I want people to hit me up, and we can be creative and figure out ways to make this happen as a family.
Krista, talk to us. Who else is involved? I mean, I know it's a Letterman that led it.
It's really all the Lettermen. I would be shortchanging a lot of people, but Michael Motti and Kajana Carter were two of the primary people that I got together with to make this happen.
Good stuff.
The same feeling we did when this went down. We need to come together to keep this place afloat.
Because you, as a former player, you understood exactly what the impact of NIL in general was going to be, and the direction it was going to head.
Awesome. We'll appreciate you joining us, Chris.
Thank you guys for
wish you a
having
lot
me.
of luck. I want to thank everybody who watched this evening. If you're catching up later on the archived version, a reminder, we'll be premiering live at 6 p.m. via the social feeds of statecollege.com and Onward State every Monday, here live from Champs Downtown with the Blue and White Players Show. We're going to keep it going all season, rain or shine. We're going to be bringing you the story of Penn State's season, hearing from the players themselves.
We're not lose.
No
pressure.
For Keith, Goon, Conlin, for Aeneas Hawkins, I'm Chris Buchanani. Join us next week. We'll be here all season. We love you. We are.
Yes, sir.
People always ask me what Chance is like during the day because we do get crazy at night, but we're just a normal workplace.
It's good, bro.
What's good, bro? How your weekend going?
It's all right, bro. How's yours?
Man, just chilling. You catch the game the other day?
Nah, I haven't.
That boy Steph Curry, he's something serious. Yeah.
Right now, I need you to high five your best friend. High five your best friend right now. Yes. Welcome back from vacation, Sean.
Good.
Make more good in the all-new Sportage X-Pro. Kia, movement that inspires.
This is the place where roadside markets are filled with fruits and vegetables, small batch jams and made from scratch pies, where mountain trails are explored with friends with names like Ghost and Traveler, where award-winning wines, craft-made beers, and spirits are raised, hearty meals are served, and nights are shared under star-filled skies. This is Center County, Pennsylvania. To find out all that's happening, visit us at happyvalleyagventures.com.
Hey, Penn State fans, it's game time, and Seonka is hitting the field with 40 dealerships and 25 franchises in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. That means more choices and the perfect new or pre-owned vehicle priced to fit your budget. Plus, factory-trained service experts are just minutes away, and you can feel confident you're doing business with a family that treats you like family. We're a proud partner of Penn State Athletics and preferred auto dealer of the Penn State Alumni Association. The Seonka